What CJ has done for me is reminded me and embedded my passion and commitment to this profession.
I was very interested in Courageous Journey because I'm a learner by nature. I knew it would present a lot of opportunities to hear cutting-edge research and the latest points of view in the field.
Courageous Journey for me is about being purposeful.
The Courageous Journey has given me fantastic networking, great practical ideas and suggestions that I could take back and implement immediately.
For my own personal growth was learning how to become a more effective superintendent and really digging into what makes a person an effective leader and sharing my learning with my administrative teams.
When I think of systemic change, I always think of doing things in a very concrete, sequential way and looking at where are we as an organization, measuring that against where we need to be as an organization, and then also looking at leading indicators of change and asking ourselves the question, okay, now knowing what we know in terms of change going on in our world around us, nationally, state, locally, how is that too going to affect our organization, affect our teaching, affect our instruction?
Well, one of the things I found really interesting, both from an academic standpoint and a practical standpoint in Courageous Journey, was taking a look at the data. And what I chose to focus on was high school, and not just the data that gets published in the paper, but some information that would be logical but not normally collected.
We can then start to plan our whole change process and what kinds of changes are needed, put in the measurements and the accountability for that change.
We took a look at attendance data, we took a look at our suspensions, we took a look at our grade point averages by class, we also took a look at our failure rates, and we took a look at how teachers were doing inside of each of the classes. And it's interesting, once we got that data, it gave us a benchmark that we were able to track and actually put in place some remedies to improve how we were doing.
Documenting this change and having more time, taking more time to reflect on the change, and having a greater understanding of the importance of bringing more people into the change that may not be traditionally thought of, meaning people outside of education, people who might be more financially minded.
Thanks to the Courageous Journey and the focus on data and student outcomes, we did three things that I think made a great difference. We had teachers focus on how they were grading, which caused them to take a look at their student learning process. We put in place tutoring for kids that were struggling a little bit with their grades. And the third thing is we identified student leaders to help us through some of the discipline issues. I don't think we would have ever done any of those three if it hadn't been for the approach that I learned through Courageous Journey.
The work of Courageous Journey and the learning is really connected to what I do every day, and of course the legacy I want to leave eventually. Of particular interest is the ability and the opportunity to meet other superintendents across the state, hear their points of view and what we have in common or how we differ.
The thing that CJ has done for me is to help me be focused, be very conscious of that, be very conscious of what I'm doing in regard to my own personal growth, in regard to systemic change throughout the district.
I have spent an enormous amount of time reading and practicing some of Marzano's work and some of others' suggestions, such as Kathleen Cotton, on how to improve my own leadership skills and then transfer that to my immediate administrative leadership team.
And the fact that we're involved in this process, that we periodically meet, that we have connections even when we're not together, really helps me grounded.
Participating in Courageous Journey, I've discovered a lot about myself, and it's really been a source of being able to develop as a person, set personal goals and transformational goals for my district.
Being able to network with my colleagues in the Courageous Journey project who are involved in change, because all of us are involved in some form of change. All of us are facing similar challenges as well as unique challenges.
Additionally, I thought having superintendent certification would add credibility to a district that really valued learning.
And it was okay to take those risks, and that's what I've gained.